Alrighty folks, so I just finished watching the second episode to Netflix's new show, Stalker, entitled Anyone Could Be Next. This episode for the most part was about one thing, and it was this man's shoe prints. There was a bunch more victims that their stories were shown, and it kept leading to this shoe in a VS, I believe. I forget what it was called. It was some off-brand shoe. It was not a very well-known shoe, and they had went to the company that made the shoes, and there was one sold in LA, so it really wasn't a great lead, but it was pretty much the only thing that they had to prove that anytime that there was a new killing, those shoes pretty much were the only thing that tied to this criminal that they were looking for. And I thought it was interesting that there was a news anchor or a journalist, a news anchor, whatever you want to call her, that had gotten access to that information about the shoe and was going to run a story on it. And of course, if she did run that story, the killer was obviously going to change his shoes out, and there would be no way to tie his crimes together, because pretty much at every crime scene they went to, they found his shoe print, and it was so unique, and it was the same size, so that was pretty much how they were connecting all the dots. And the worst thing about this for the investigators, Carrillo and Salerno, was the fact that he had no pattern. He didn't target anybody specifically. It wasn't just women, it wasn't a certain race, it wasn't anything like that. He really didn't have any specific target, and he wouldn't always kill the people. He would let them go. Some people he would just sexually assault, some people he would kill, some people he wouldn't kill, he'd just leave them tied up. Essentially, this man was on like a weird pace. In 10 days, he had killed 5 people, and these investigators, our two heroes of this story, pretty much had no sleep. And they kind of showed the toll that it took on them and their wives and their families, that they just got no sleep, and they were pretty much always on the lookout for this dude. And towards the end of the episode, there were thousands of people that were calling in saying that they had seen this potential person based off of the little sketch they had drawn up. And of course, when they're asking for the public's help, there's people that are just calling in for nothing and just giving them crappy information. But towards the end of this episode, there was this car that they did not have access to. Earlier in the documentary, they had talked about how all the districts of police were fighting over this case and all their cases, and that there was a lot of infighting and a lot of stupidity. Salerno and Carrillo could not get access to this car to check the prints, which is just lovely. You gotta love how that works. But essentially, 5 days later, they got access to the car, but the car was there for 5 days. The weather had taken its toll on it, and they couldn't get any prints, which is like, oh, of course. And during that 5-day stretch, a bunch of people died, and Carrillo was pretty much lamenting the fact that if they had gotten to that car the day of, they probably could have arrested the guy behind all these killings. At the end of the episode, they kind of got one joyous moment. They found this dental card, and they got in contact with the dentist, and basically his teeth were so jacked up that they pretty much started staking out that dentist office and waiting for him to come back, because they knew his teeth were so jacked up that he was going to have to come back. So yeah, episode 2, again, like I said with the first one, it was really good. Netflix, all the people they got working on this, whatever production company they got that does all the editing and the music, all the effects and all that, they do a great job. Netflix is just fantastic at these serial killer type documentaries. But yeah, episode 2, very intriguing, and I'm looking forward to the third one and seeing if they find this guy trying to go to his dentist appointment. But yeah, let me know your thoughts in the comments below on this episode or the first one. I'm kind of going through it chronologically. I like to take each episode and kind of dive into them specifically, not just do the whole overview of it. But that's going to do it for this video. Peace out.